Hey guys, Liana here. Okay, very excited. It was my birthday yesterday, and one of the things I got was this guy, the Disney Infinity Stitch figure. And I'm excited because I love Stitch. Words cannot describe how much I love Stitch. What just happened? I wasn't paying attention. Okay, weird. But I got something for it. And that's what I love about Disney Infinity. No matter how badly you play, it rewards you. Because Disney is love. And Disney is such love that, completely true story, or at least my husband says this is the case. My husband knows how much I love Stitch. And so he set out to get me this little guy for, wait, what? Yes, Stitch can pick up a car. That's cool. Okay, what can Stitch do with the car? Can he throw the car? Yes! Sweet. Okay, so, apparently he could not find Stitch anywhere, because Stitch is pretty popular. And this part makes me happy, because when they announced Disney Infinity, the first thing I said to the Disney reps is, where's the Stitch figure? And they insisted that they'd selected the first wave of toys based on market testing and popularity and all that stuff, and Stitch wasn't popular enough to be a figure yet. But they recovered from their mistake by getting fan votes, I believe, for characters. And Stitch was one of the ones the fans picked. So here's Stitch. And then, of course, it sold out like crazy because people know what's good. And so the problem for me, or the problem for my poor husband, was that now there were no Stitch figures to get me for my birthday. And so what he did was he contacted the Disney rep and went, I can't find it anywhere, can you help? And the Disney people hooked him up with a Stitch figure for moi, which is really nice of Disney. I'm very, very happy when Disney does stuff like this, because there's enough anger and sadness in the world, and Disney takes away some of that. So that's good. Yay, Disney. Yay, Stitch is happy. Look at him go. He's so cute. So this video is probably completely inappropriate. The game is probably completely inappropriate for what you guys wanted me to talk about today. I got asked for comment on the whole Mortal Kombat Kitana redesign thing, news. Basically, they made her boobs smaller, and they made her wardrobe less revealing. And the first thing I'll say is the game's not out yet. I recognize the game is not out yet, and that's why I did not comment on it on Twitter. Because people freak out when you judge a game based on the marketing before it's out. And I sort of agree with that caution that you shouldn't completely judge a game in its entirety before it's out. What you can judge is what you've seen, so I'm a little more comfortable judging character designs as character designs, as opposed to plot stuff and, you know, out of context stuff, but people get really nasty when you venture into this, the game's not out yet, how do you know? How do you know the game's not out yet? I get this all the time, and it's like, yeah, the game's not out yet. We're commenting on the marketing. If a game isn't out, I think it's fair to assume we're only commenting on the marketing. But people flip out, the game's not out yet. And it's like, you know, sadly there are some topics and even some games it's just not worth commenting on because people can't stay objective and they can't stay fair. Which is why I've put on like Stitch and like luau music, so hopefully everybody stays chill. And I haven't played this level before, which is why I'm wandering around looking lost. But most of the levels I play on these, I don't think I've ever replayed a level for one of these videos yet. So you're discovering it as I'm discovering it. Whoops. And you can see around a wall. That's pretty cute. Come on, that's pretty cute. Whoops. So the Mortal Kombat thing. So that caveat aside, yes, the game's not out yet. Yes, we don't know what alternative costumes there are. But Fighting games are their own unique thing. And the issue, how about this? I'm gonna limit my comments on this to the marketing of this latest Mortal Kombat game. And I wish I knew more about the marketing. Unfortunately, I contacted Warner. For some odd reason, his email is bouncing now, so I haven't been able to reach out and find out more. But the bits I've seen, the concern I have is that this word realism keeps getting tossed around. Hey, what's this? What did that do? This is interesting. Yeah, the word realism this is weird. I think I need a car. But that word realism keeps getting tossed around. And there is nothing realistic about fighting games. Never has been, never will be. I mean, people have attempted to make realistic, like, MMA fighting games. They're not as fun, because you can get MMAs in real life. You can go watch UFC in real life, you know? And I mean, some people like that, some people like the emulation thing, but I prefer my games to be fantasy, right? And that's the thing. Ooh, footprints. Tikis. Well, that's a weird tiki. Never seen a tiki like that before. But fighting games they're surreal. They're augmented realism. They're not realistic. Was I supposed to drive that car I threw? It didn't give me that option. Oh well. But, and this is the thing, when I see a fighting game go, we're making it more realistic. No, you're not, guys. You've got a character named Devora who's part insect. You know, you've got Ermac still back, and he's like a freaking robot. And, you know, this game is not realistic. It is fantasy. And I start getting concerned when people start marketing games overtly as something they're not. I start to wonder what's going on. And I mean, what's going on is they're trying to make money. But I hope that's what it is. I hope it's cynical in this case, because if it's not, NetherRealm doesn't understand its product anymore. And who the hell plays Mortal Kombat for realism? Who's talking? The Tiki? Whoa, that's weird. That's a sad Tiki. Check that out. Sad Tiki. But yeah, anybody who plays Mortal Kombat for realism, I have to question their sanity. We play Mortal Kombat because it's stupid, right? Like, it's just ridiculous, and the fatalities are insane. And I mean, I like Mortal Kombat in the days where they had the babalities and the animalities and the friendships and all those stupid things. I liked the absurdity of it. And, you know, it helps you contextualize the violence because none of it is really real. And so when I start hearing realism in a Mortal Kombat game, I'm like, you actually want us to believe that you're going to create a realistic depiction of someone's having their spine ripped out with someone's bare hands. They're just getting, whoop, head comes off, spine and all. You actually expect us to buy that, Warner Brothers? Seriously? I know that's your talking point. I know the reps out there selling it probably didn't come up with it. But really? You expect us to buy that? And comments like that, I feel, insult my intelligence. But the thing people wanted me to comment on, and it's fair because it's something I've pointed out in the stuff I've written lately, is, do smaller boobs on women equal more realistic? No. Why not no? The average American woman is 5'3" and between a size 12 and 14. No woman in a Mortal Kombat game matches those proportions. The body types you see in a Mortal Kombat game now, with the smaller bust line, are no more attainable for many women than, you know, the giant boob bikini model thing. It's just, there's a certain amount of genetics that go into looking like that, and a lot of people either can't manage the muscle mass, or they just, their metabolisms don't work well enough to have such a low body fat percentage. And I mean, obviously when people do figure modeling or bodybuilding or fitness modeling, there are tricks they do to reduce their body fat percentage that regular people don't do, and quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't do. When you trick your metabolism, it eventually punks back. But I have no idea what I'm doing on this level. It's okay, it's just background for me talking to you. So, this idea that we'll make characters' boobs smaller, and oh look, realism! Women will feel like they can relate. No. The most important thing to me in terms of whether I can relate to a video game character, especially a woman in a fighting game or anyone in a fighting game, is their backstory compelling. I love the backstories in fighting games. I love the, you know, the little endings you get for each character in the base mode. If there's no story mode, at least you get a little ending if you beat the whole game with a certain character. To me, that's incentive to beat the game with every character, so you see their story. And I mean, right there, you've got a situation where there's no single reality. All realities are true in a fighting game. So there's a potential reality out there for every chance that a particular combatant or a particular fighter wins the tournament. You know, and that's one of the things that fascinates me about fighting games, is that I didn't build this. Why are you warning me about this? Is this thing broken? But, you know, right there, we're not looking for definitive story. We're looking for potential stories. And once you get there, I find my brain kind of relaxes on what I'm gonna accept in terms of character designs and things like that. And I mean, let's face it, there's some hulking brute male characters in Mortal Kombat 2. There are some I've looked, and a distinct lack of pants. There's a lot of people, male and female alike, that don't wear pants. I noticed that because I went and looked at the female characters, and yes, they are all fairly small-breasted, although it's very possible that they're just strapping them down in the armor and not like putting them in push-up bras. I don't know what their official proportions are. You know, I looked and it's like, okay, Dvor's not wearing pants. Are there any guys that wear pants? Oh, there are a distinct lack of pants on the men too. Okay, it's equal. But who goes into a fighting game where people have weapons without at least some kind of armor? You know, you're fighting a robot that is essentially a tin can and is stronger than you. You wouldn't at least wear some armor? That's an ego problem. That's not wise. But these are the things that, if you're thinking about this while you're playing a fighting game, what's wrong with you? And that's why I don't like injecting realism in any form into games like Mortal Kombat. It's just, it really doesn't belong there. The entire reason we have the Nether Realm, the entire reason we have this displaced location for these games is because we don't need realism. We don't want realism. Why aren't we in Primary Realm? If we want realism, why aren't we in our world? You know? Thanks, Loki. Thanks for barking. Atiki is hungry? That's weird. See, that's not realistic, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's exceptionally odd that Mortal Kombat would market Mortal Kombat. I don't know if they're calling it Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat X. But Mortal Kombat Roman numeral 10. How's that there? you know, I don't know why they would market this game on realism, because that's precisely what I'm not interested in. And quite frankly, that, more than the lack of boobs, makes me less inclined to buy it. And I was really stoked on this game before they started with this, the name of the game is realism thing. Okay, so we're gonna see the round one fight guy. We finally get to see what he looks like. And like, you know, he's, I don't know, some teeny tiny Asian dude because the voice doesn't match the body. Like, are we actually gonna see that? Because otherwise we still have a disembodied voice, and we're fine with that. The martial arts movies that Mortal Kombat is inspired by are not realistic. Oh, what's this? Pods. Hey, hey. And nothing still happened. At least it's pretty. Okay, I'm gonna follow arrows. Am I gonna buy? I'm still probably gonna buy the game just because it's Mortal Kombat, and I was really excited about this before, before this whole thing happened. Hey, what's this? It's a tornado. Oh yeah. What? What's going on? Okay. Hey, Tiki. What's this? Leave. Oh God, they're all emo. They're all emo. What the? What are these wings? Why can't I? Okay, I think I need a flyer or something like that I don't have, which kind of blows. But I'll keep running around because load screens are boring for you guys. Whoops. Whee. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned. I hear realism in a Mortal Kombat game. Like, this is gonna be dry. Like, this is gonna be boring. And I don't want boring. I want absurd. I want silly. But the question people wanted to know is, you know, is a smaller breasted woman more realistic? Well, no. She's just smaller breasted. I mean, is the wardrobe potentially more realistic, and therefore the women may not look as well endowed because the girls are plastered down? Well, you know, maybe. But what? Oh boy. Okay, I gotta go to emo dude. The emo McDonald's dude? Okay. Okay. Okay, he didn't want to talk to me. I feel excluded, game. I feel excluded. None of your friends would talk to me. You exclusionary tiki assholes. Okay, so, and yeah, we're back to this, and I mean, let's face it, after 9 numbered Mortal Kombat games and a bunch of others, franchise has been around forever. And I mean, okay, Kitana's boobs weren't huge when she was first introduced, and that's part of the reason I'm okay with that particular character being redesigned. It's their game. They have the right to do what they want. And if they want to play up on the ninja thing, and they want to change your physicality accordingly, fine. The question is there variety in the female characters in terms of body type? What? Oh look, Mean Girls. We have to find the Mean Girls. Okay. Finally, something happened. Yay. Okay, go Stitch. Find the girls that made my young life a living hell. So yeah, I mean, it's this question of you can't judge a single character out of context. You can't judge a single creative decision out of context. You have to judge it based on the whole of the game. And I don't know if all the characters are announced yet, which is why I'm hesitant to, come here. Which is why I'm sort of hesitant to comment before we know. Wow, there should really be an objective marker on this. But I guess he's close enough. We're supposed to figure it out. see. Okay. You know, not just well-endowed women, but, you know, overweight women and women who are, you know, not, you know, that nice curvy kind of thin that you see all over the place, but more, you know, more what we would call boyish. Like, I want to see different body types, and that's not because it's some political agenda specifically relating to women. It's because the male characters are all shapes and sizes. I mean, they're all pretty buff, but we have those monster characters among men. I mean, that's what I would have liked to see in a Mortal Kombat game. A female monster character who isn't at all sexy. That's what I would have liked to see. If you're gonna go for realism, do that. But no, what do we have? A woman who is part insect who's still super hot. You know? And this is not stuff I'd say if they weren't saying the name of the game is realism. Really? You can show me a woman who's part insect in real life? Really? Like, this is the problem with this marketing. And the problem with this is game companies don't come up with these marketing slogans, these catchphrases out of nowhere. They get them based on what they think the fans want. And it scares the crap out of me that there's any sufficient number of Mortal Kombat fans who want realism. Like, what? See, that's a bit scary. And why would you encourage that, Mortal Kombat? Like, it should be, our games aren't realistic, our games are fun. And it's just so odd to me that a game series that, you know, was heavily responsible for the fact that we have the ESRB in the first place will go crazy brutal on the violence, but worry about boob size. And I mean, I guess in one way I can go, okay, they're taking it seriously. They think sexism is a bigger problem than violence. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think the two things are sort of interconnected and it's hard to separate the two. But it's odd, and it's a decision that to me doesn't make any objective sense and doesn't make any creative sense. Like, why are they limiting the body types of characters? I mean, if a woman is part insect, how do we know that insects don't have giant boobs when they mix with humans? I don't know. How do we know they wouldn't be overweight? You know, if you go to any tough man competition, those guys aren't like ripped. They look like fat guys because they're, you know, it's strength. It's not how their body looks. So it's cause for concern, but it's cause for cautious concern. I mean, I like the wardrobe redesign on Katana. But I didn't dislike the old ones. But I think they do have to change up the look of some of those characters just to keep it interesting, just to keep it fresh, just so the developers don't get bored. But it is an odd marketing decision to go that way. And I can understand why people feel chastised when things like this are happening. You know, the world's pretty judgmental about what, I don't know if it's what people find attractive or it's specifically what men find attractive, but people are pretty judgmental about what a given individual is attracted to. I mean, I hear this a lot from guys who like big, beautiful women, that there's not enough content out there for them that isn't like fetishized and half, you know, making fun, because the assumption is, you know, who's really attracted to an overweight woman? Well, there's guys out there who are, you know, some of them are friends of mine, and they don't do it to be politically correct or anything like that. That's what they like. And I think this is the most misunderstood thing when it comes to beauty and it comes to what people find attractive is people find a lot of different things attractive. And I think that the particularly narrow focus on the physicality of female characters is leading to less interesting female characters. And that just goes across the board. That's not just Mortal Kombat. And I understand why fans are concerned that Mortal Kombat was sort of a political correctness holdout, in that they didn't, you know, dial back the violence, except with the DC license, and I was fine with that. And then they got Injustice, and there went that, you know. They pushed the envelope in terms of violence, so I can understand why people are disconcerted that they seem to be playing politics with sex and sexuality. And that's a fair criticism. But yeah, am I personally disappointed? I think I am. Did I ever particularly relate to Kitana? No. I always ended up playing Melina or Sindel. Sindel's my Mortal Kombat girl. But am I personally concerned? Sure. I mean, you're always a little bit wary when you feel like you're being erased. Do I think that it's cause for an uprising? No, because I don't think these things are ever cause for an uprising, unless I feel like something is actually just really poorly done and it's actually a quality issue. That they have half-assed something, gotten lazy, and not giving consumers the best product they possibly could. And I've realized in, you know, refining my theories on gender that that's usually what hits me. It's, you were lazy with this character. And unfortunately, developers tend to be more lazy with female characters on the whole than male characters. And that doesn't mean there aren't some terribly lazy male characters out there. It's just, you know, they'll stick in a woman because, oh, she's the girlfriend, or she's the love interest, or she's the bitchy ex-wife, or they're just, you know, put her in because we need this character, and they don't really think about what she's about. Now that's changing, and it's changing rapidly, and we've got some great female characters, and, you know, I'd rather reward that than pick on the garbage. But sometimes the garbage is pretty garbage. But that's more my concern. Is Mortal Kombat can do, and any game, can do whatever they want, and I'll support it, provided I feel like they've thought about it, and didn't just put it in based on assumptions of what women are and should be, and what men are and should be. And that's really what it comes down to. So am I disappointed? Sure. Am I less excited about the game? Yes. Is it worth flipping out over? No. So that's my take on this, and I'll leave you guys with that thought, and go back to helping Stitch round up little girls and put them in a pen, possibly to feed to this hungry Tiki. Oh, now he likes cake. How do we know the cake isn't made of little girls? We don't know. Tikis are evil, man. Human sacrifice.